Hello again. Geometry notes here for 1-7. Transformations in the coordinate plane. This first slide reads, the Alhambra, a 13th century palace in Granada, Spain, is famous for the geometric patterns that cover its walls and floors. To create a variety of designs, the builders based the patterns on several different transformations. A transformation is a change in the position, size, or shape of a figure. The original figure is called the pre-image. The resulting figure is called the image. So pre-image is first, image is second. A transformation maps the pre-image to the image. Arrow notation is used to describe a transformation, and primes, or little apostrophes, are used to label the image. To make sure that you guys are listening to my voice, there's nothing to write in frame 1. If you would, at the bottom of frame 1, just write the word geometry. Write the word geometry at the bottom of frame 1. That way when I look at your notes, I can see that you were actually listening to me and not just writing down and have the volume not on. The next slide. This is a transformation of a triangle. Notice you have the pre-image right here, which is the first one. That's where you start. And the image is the second one, and that's where you finish. Notice this triangle is labeled A, B, C. And it finishes, and it's A apostrophe, and that's red prime. So it's A prime, B prime, C prime. And this part right here is called arrow notation. Again, arrow notation. Next slide. There are 3 types of transformations. We'll talk about all 3 of them. The first one is a reflection. So with that one, think of a mirror image or a flip. It flips across. A reflection or flip is a transformation across a line called the line of reflection. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. In other words, this point here, that distance, and that little distance would be congruent. The same thing here. This little distance here to the line, that distance would be congruent to that distance, and the same thing from over to A. The middle one, a rotation, is a turn. A rotation or turn is a transformation about a point P called the center of rotation. Each point and its image are the same distance from P. The third one is a translation or slide. A translation or slide is a transformation in which all the points of a figure move the same distance in the same direction. So we have a flip, a turn, or a slide. Let's look at the next slide. Identify the transformation. Then use arrow notation to describe the transformation. Well, if you look, it looks like I'm going from the blue to the red because I have triangle ABC. I'm going down the triangle, the red triangle, A prime, B prime, C prime. And that looks like it's a rotation. See how it kind of spins down? So this blue one is turning maybe this way, if that helps you. The blue is spinning down to the red. So this again is a rotation. My choices are rotation, reflection, translation. So this one's a rotation. And then I have to, I'm not done with the problem yet, use arrow notation. Arrow notation is to do triangle ABC, arrow, which means maps to or changes to, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Let's look at the next one. Identify the transformation. Use the arrow notation to describe the transformation. Again, my choices are reflection, rotation, translation. From the, looks like I'm going again from the blue to the red. So this is really my first one, and this is my second one. So pre-image to image. And it looks like the blue flips down. It flips down, so that would be a reflection. Again, it kind of goes down this way, and it kind of flips or hinges down. So I started to do a triangle, but these aren't triangles. So I got to call it just D, E, F, G. Oops, can't write today. D, E, didn't erase. Let me just erase the whole thing and start over. D, E, F, G. Again, I started to put a triangle in front of that, but they're rectangles, not triangle. Arrow, meaning it maps to D prime, E prime, F prime, G prime. And that would be my arrow notation. Let's look at the next one. Identify each transformation, then use arrow notation to describe it. So letter A. That's just going, looks like from blue to red. This is the first one and the second one. Looks like it's going down and over, so that's a slide. So that would be a translation because it's just sliding over. So my map or my arrow notation would be M, N, O, P maps to M prime, N prime, O prime, P prime. Letter B over here, from the blue, which is the first one, to the second one, that looks like it's just kind of rotating this way, kind of spinning it over. So that would be a rotation. And this would be triangle, XYZ, arrow, triangle, X prime, Y prime, Z prime. Again, that would be my arrow notation. Next slide. A figure has vertices A, B, and C, and the coordinates are there. After a transformation, the image of the figure has vertices A prime given, B prime given, C prime given. Draw the pre-image and image, then identify the transformation. Okay, it's already drawn for you. Here is A, B, C, and it translates, or I'm sorry, transformation goes to A prime, B prime, and C prime. Well, that to me looks like it is a flip. It's flipped over the y-axis. So a flip is a reflection. And that's all you have to do here. It says identify the transformation. That's a reflection. The next one, a little bit different here. I'm adding something to it. This one says find the coordinates of the image, meaning the second one, the image of triangle ABC. After the translation, if you notice this right here, this little code, we add 2 to the x and subtract 1 from the y. In other words, this point A, I'm going to write it over here. Point A, if you count the coordinates, negative 2, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, negative 4, 2. Negative 4, 2. I need to add 2 and subtract 1. So my A prime, add 2 would make that a negative 2. Subtract 1 would make that a 1. So my A prime would be negative 2, 1, or right there. Let's do the same thing with point B. Point B here, if I count, looks like 1, 2, negative 3, 4. So point B, already graphed, is negative 2, 4. Well, according to the code up top, I add 2 onto the x. So B prime add 2 would make that a 0. Subtract 1, make that a 3. So 0, 3, if I come over here, 0, 3 would be that point right there. One more point, C. C that's already graphed looks like it's negative 1, comma 1. So C prime, according to my directions, I add 2 onto the x, so that makes that a positive 1. Subtract 1 from the y, so that makes that a 0. So 1, 0 would be that point right there. And if I connect them, there's my image. I could label that A prime, B prime, C prime. Again, add 2, subtract 1. Let's try another one. On this one, let's start with J. I'm just going to list the points here. J is, what's graphed? 1, 1. And then K, let's just do all the regular points. That's 1, 2, 3, 3, 1. L, that point over there looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 3, negative 4. And M over there would be 1, negative 4. So I'm going to find J prime, K prime, L prime, M prime. And I do that by this code right here. I subtract 2 from the x, add 4. Minus 2 plus 4. So let's start filling these in. Minus 2, negative 1, add 4 makes a 5. Subtract 2, be 1, add 4 makes a 5. Subtract 2, 1, add 4, that's 0. Subtract 2, so negative 1, add 4, 0. There's my primes. So then I can go over and graph them now. Negative 1, 5 would be right there. 1, 5, it's right there. 1, 0, be right there. And negative 1, 0, it's right there. If I draw that rectangle in, there is my pre-image. I'm sorry, my image. So this would be K prime. This would be L prime, M prime, and up there would be J prime. All right, that's all I have. Thanks for watching.